your husband would never cheat, but let's say you find out your husband was cheating. But you're on the right path. You overcoming, and you found out he cheated, right? You're not gonna get mad. Oh, I can't believe he cheated on me. I'm gonna go out and tell the world. I'm gonna get rid of this guy. It wouldn't bother you at all because you weren't trying to get anything from him anyway. You didn't. So what? So what? Ooh, I hit a home run here. So what now?
If I'm correct in saying, you said I wouldn't be bothered. Is that what you
Right.
said?
If you were not trying to get a sense of identity from him, if you were not trying to get love from him, if you didn't need him for anything within, if you found out he was cheating, first of all, you would understand that it wasn't him, but that thing drive, he looking for something, right? That he was empty. That doesn't mean you stay with him, or you might be able to forgive him and stay with him. But you will have a clear understanding and will not judge him and not be affected by it.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think that definitely affects your relationship, your marriage, the home that you've created for your children as well, because.
Not if you're not getting identity from it, it wouldn't move it.
But then hang on a minute here. If he rolled out like most people, if he rolled out like some people do, then if I decided that that's not acceptable, or we knew that that's not acceptable, and I was like, well, I'm not tolerating that behavior. That's what you've done is wrong. Even though I'm not like angry and emotional about it.
I love this.
Then I'd be like, okay, then that's it. Like we're done, right? But then two people are not now living in the same home, which then affects how my children are being raised.
Amazing.
Because now their parent who stepped out is not in the house.
Let's say that she called you up for coffee and said that to you. What would you say? You guys are good friends, and she's like, he cheated. He even had his hat on when he cheated. And now it's affecting the family. We have one person in the home now, and I'm affected by it. What would you say? I mean, I know the new you, whatever. What would you say?
Well, the old me would have. I have a certain relationship with that whole thing that's always been different from the masses. I don't think that that's grounds for leaving a marriage. I think that can be worked through.
No, see there? Would you be affected by it if you found out your husband cheated?
I've actually thought about this because I had a situation which obviously I'm not going to go into that now.
All right, of course, and don't.
However,
never put your personal business out there.
Yes, I learned that at a very early
They used to
age.
teach us that in the old school, but people put their personal business out there now, the men, and Nick did a show about it because the men were suffering from putting their personal business out there. Go ahead.
I think that there's grace in that. I've honestly thought long and hard about this, and I don't really think it's a big deal, to be honest. I think that, I think that it happens. I think it happens, and I'm not saying I'm giving my husband a license to go out and we have this open marriage.
Right.
I'm not saying that
That's
by any
right.
means,
I
but I'm
understand that.
saying I just have a certain security. He does his thing, I do my thing, and if that's his choice, then that's his choice. And I'm gonna have to deal with that if and when the time would come, but here and now and thinking through it and having thought through this type of scenario, I would work it out.
Right on. What would you do? Well, not what would you, but what do you think about what she said? That it's going to affect the family if he does that, because now you have one person in the home instead of the husband and the wife, and it's going to upset the kids in a way, and blah, blah, blah. What do you think about all that?
There's so much being said in this room. I feel like I'm getting confused. There's a lot. I mean, my first thought and feeling, which is of the devil, is like he's a liar. You know, that's the first thing that comes up. And so now I'm
I can
looking. Now I'm
hear you
looking
now.
at that. I'm
You're
looking at a lot of.
liar.
Yeah.
You pretend to be a good husband. You're a liar.
I'm looking at so
and
many
feel
things.
so good about saying that.
I know. I'm seeing so many things of like how I used to see things, how I
Yeah.
see things now. What's the devil? What's the truth? Like, there's a lot going on. I mean, honestly, if somebody called me and whatever, this scenario happened and somebody came to me, I might ask if I could call her back because this isn't my business. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like, whoa, this is like, I'm over here like with a pie diagram of what my life looks like and the devil and God and
Yeah.
like, I don't know, just
Okay.
figure it out. But I mean, I hear what you're saying. Like, if you're in the relationship together and you're not wanting anything from each other, and like, I hear that. I'm hearing that. But like, this scenario just made it really like tangible. And so now I'm like, I don't know. I gotta go. Like, that's my
You like, I gotta go.
kind of like, I don't know. Like, can I call you later? Because this is like, it's a lot. I feel really
I
like
understand what you're saying. I
overwhelmed
understand what
by.
all of you are saying. I
Yeah.
really do. Yeah.
I don't, because my next thinking is like, this isn't my marriage. This isn't my business. Whatever they have going on, they need to figure it out. And like, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what to say to that.
Amazing. Did you have your hair?
I just have one.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Yeah. And then, Rosie, I want to know how you deal with this.
I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is that, especially since doing the work, when I think about scenarios like that, and just last week, we had a package delivered. The package seemed to arrive there safely, get home, no package, review the camera, and there was another delivery person that was en route to a different place to deliver a package. He decided to pick up our package and take it along with him. I was so incensed for a moment, but then I seriously stopped and I was like, nope. What is it that you've done, Danielle, in the past that would be equivalent to what this guy did? Let it go. Do what needs to be done. Report it to
Yeah.
the authorities.
It's just a
You know,
package.
report it to and just like that, it was done and gone. I did what I needed to do, and I thought about you because you always say, practical thoughts are fine. Just do what you need to do and
Yes.
then be done with it. I'll get a replacement package. There's no need to expend all of that emotion.
That's
it's
right.
the very similar feeling that I feel towards this whole cheating thing. I know it is not a popular opinion, what I expressed earlier. However, I sincerely feel like if my husband were to do that, all I need to do is go back in my memory bank and not too far and think about things that I've done that may not have been cheating, but
It's the
It's the
same
same.
spirit. Absolutely.
so.
Yes, ma'am.
I think the main difference. I understand what everybody's saying in the viewpoints. I think for me the main thing is, yes, I'm not saying that's something that you can't work through or overcome. I'm just saying from the fact that when there's young children in the mix of that situation, you're not just thinking about your own situation that you and your husband may have. You've now got to think about how you're affecting the next generation.
Right.
So, not saying that that's not something you shouldn't or couldn't or wouldn't work through. I'm just saying that there is more of a massive effect that you need to think about. So I feel like most marriages should have not boundaries, boundaries of like what's the line, what's acceptable, so that those scenarios don't even happen.
Wow. And who set the boundary?
I think when you're dating, I think you go through, you talk about those things and you see what the other person's perspective and line is. Like, I don't have any male friends. I have no reason to have any male friends. The only male friends the only other males I'm around are other married couples where we're all friends together, but I wouldn't be texting other men unless it's a, hey, can you pick up this shift? Yes, no, okay, great, bye.
What would happen if you had a male friend?
I just don't think it's appropriate. So
Oh.
you just know what I'm saying? So there's boundaries to like what's acceptable.
I understand. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Yes, sir. He had his hand.
But she has Then how? She always gets offended when I say she.
She gets offended when you say she?
Yeah, my mom. When I say
Wow.
she gets really
Local.
offended. I can't call her she in the house.
Really?
But what'd you say?
She wants you to call her mom all the time?
It's a British thing. Like,
Stop that. You totally identify with being a mama.
go
What do you mean?
ahead.
Say it.
Wait, you was
I was asking a question. But you have friends with Phoebe and Dave, remember?
Yes, but I'm saying it's in a way that it's another married couple. I don't just go out for dinner with Dave.
Don't let the kids see it.
You could go out with them and
Yeah.
you said you wouldn't have any boyfriends though.
Meaning I won't go out with just for lunch with Dave. I would go out with Phoebe and Dave. That's what I mean.
But why can't you go out with them? Say hello.
What do you mean?
Why can't you go have lunch with him or say hello or something?
With just Dave?
Speak a little loud, you make a lot
Why?
of sense.
Why? Because from what I understand it as of right now and how I feel is that I don't think personally it's appropriate for me to go out with just another male.
Feelings don't matter.
That's right. Absolutely.
I mean, what do you think of that?
The young lady behind you want to have some input with that, and she's all over the chair right there.
I respect her so much. Like, you are honoring your husband. And I think that is a great example to set the children. So I totally understand. Like,
Amazing.
you just never know when you open a door or a little window, and it's like the devil whispering in your ear.
Right.
I respect
I
this.
understand what you guys are saying. I do understand it. I know why you're saying it, and I understand it. The two young ladies right there want to do it. Then we'll move on. I saw some more hands here. What do you want to say to that situation?
Wait, the friend situation or
No,
cheating situation?
the husband cheated on her, and now she just livid. Ooh, livid.
I wish you would have been here on Thursday for Women's Forum because this is something that I shared with you.
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna bring yours up.
Okay.
It's up to you though.
Well, I'll tell you that situation later. But
Just so they know, he didn't cheat on you.
he did not cheat. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, my
So
husband
now
did
they're gonna
not
be
cheat on
thinking,
me.
"Oh, he didn't
No,
cheat."
it was just a hearsay type of thing. People are
Right.
trying to stir up
He
stuff.
didn't cheat.
He did not
But
cheat
we just
at
talk
all.
about your cheating.
But your thought. He's scratching his head. He's like, huh?
I know. He's like, what the?
I'm about to die tonight. No, I mean, people stir the pot, and
Yeah.
people talk and love to talk, and they love to see
they're evil.
Yeah, there's so much evil out there, and honestly, being in that situation where obviously he did not cheat, but just the thoughts starting to play, it is crazy. I mean, it's intense, and I mean, thank God he didn't cheat, but just hearing those thoughts, just the thoughts themselves,
The thought of
are
it felt like it happened.
insane. And I honestly reacted like it happened, and I was like, oh no, especially because he travels for work, so it's really hard. And those thoughts are just they really do get the best of you.
All
Like, these
thoughts are all lies
yeah.
all the time about anything.
And if it wasn't for me, obviously what we know now, and being able to like sit in those thoughts and just take that hell and realize that they're just thoughts, I think I would probably keep reacting the way I was when I first heard what I heard. And
She would have had the lawyer at the door when you got home from work.
I was just going to say, though, if, let's just say hypothetically he did, because that's what the question that Jesse posed to me, that how would you then deal with that situation, knowing that, again, you have 2 children as well,
I think it all ties back down to the biblical question where what are your false needs, right? So I had to sit in my hell, literally, and whether he did or he didn't, right? We're gonna put it out there just like that. I had to sit in my own hell and realize, like, you know what? He's not just fulfilling me. You know, I am myself, and I have to learn how to just be me without him having to complete me. Kids being in the mix. Back in the good old days, my grandparents went through a similar situation. They never threw their laundry out. So I didn't, I mean, I was just being nosy. As a kid, I was being nosy. So I know that they went through a situation. I was maybe like his age, 12, but because I was being nosy, I got to hear, and no one else knew about what happened.
Yeah.
And they stayed married up until my grandpa passed, which was January. So I don't know. I guess I can't, you know, say that but honestly, I think I would probably work through it because we have children. Who knows? I mean, you know, God, we don't have control over anything, you know? So I don't know. I think once you're in that situation, for me, it was that thing that was said, and I was able to sit in my own hell and realize, like, hold on, he's not what's keeping me happy or fulfilled or whatever. So I had to learn how to find me and just sit in my own junk and take it and realize, like, okay, I can be me without him. Yes, I'm married. Yes, we have children, but I'm still me, you know?
But lastly, do you think, though, that what I was saying before about having certain boundaries in your relationship just kind of just cut out the potential of mess?
By
Having
setting the
certain
boundaries. Oh, I
you both
understand.
know what the boundaries are,
Yeah.
what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. It just cuts out the potential for unnecessary things to be happening
Okay.
that shouldn't be appropriate.
Okay.
100% I do agree, because I feel like you do need to set boundaries. It's like when you start doing any kind of drug, that's a gateway to another drug or to something else or to something else. So yeah, I feel like there are obviously boundaries that we do have to set within each other. And maybe, I don't know, I think you just kind of know. I think it's just, it falls into place. I feel like when you kind of have to sit and say it, it's more like you're forced to do something, and that kind of pushes those boundaries to be like, oh, well, if you think I'm not going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Okay. I got to move forward a little bit from this. Yes, sir. Real fast. You had your hand, right?
Yeah. So when, so if your husband leaves, he chose to leave, and if he left, that's fine.
Yes.
God will lead you because you don't have a man.
Absolutely.
God will lead you.
Amen.
He'll always give you. He'll always show you the way to truth.
That's right. That's deep. Real fast, because we're totally out of time. The boundary things, and what do you think about that?
When you asked the question about if she was your girlfriend and she called you and said,
Oh, yeah.
so I would say, could you see if he wants to go get counseling with Jesse?
What the? What the? Let me tell you this, because of time. Number one, when the ego sheds, when it dies, you have no need for him. So, because your nature changed from evil to good. And if you are good, then there are no needs from the world at all. And so if he did do that, God forbid, he won't, but if he did, you wouldn't be worried about the children or anybody, because God's Spirit would be working through you, and that same love you had with him, you still have it, and you're still going to pass down love to your children. That you're not going to pass down anger. You're not going to pass down fear and worry and doubt. And who are you that you're going to set a boundary? Have you noticed if human beings set boundaries, you're going to cross those boundaries? Because it's all ego, it's all this. Another human being cannot stop another human being from crossing a boundary. It's like when God told Adam, don't eat of the apple. Because he told him not to do it, he did it. Because it becomes a temptation when you do that. So you set boundary, but if he's of good anyway, he can't help but do the right thing. It wouldn't even be in his mind to cheat. And he'll be able to go out with lunch with different women at work or anywhere, and so will you. because you know your nature is of good. It's of perfect love, and perfect love would never do those kind of things. It's not even, because it's not your nature. We have to change nature, not minds, but nature. And God, Satan's nature is evil, which is all ego. God's nature is good, and in good there is no evil. So it wouldn't even be a setting a boundary or thinking about it. I see you still nervous about it, huh?
I'm not nervous.
You can't,
I disagree with something.
you disagree? Okay, I understand. But stay with it. You'll see what I'm talking about. I totally understand.
I think there's just so much to be. I feel like there's so much to be said on this topic that there's
Yeah.
not enough time. But I think when I was talking about boundaries, I'm talking back 18 years ago when we first started dating, before we knew anything about your ministry or anything like that.
Right.
We don't have boundaries like that anymore.
Right.
But I'm talking like way back, about boundaries. But I think
It's
this
like-
subject is just there's so much to talk about.
It's like when parents set boundaries for children. What do? They break the boundary. But if parents that would be a good example, and the kids would follow that, and there would be nothing on their mind what to do and what not to do, because there would be no boundary. They would just be whatever you are. But you set a boundary, they're going to break the boundary.
Sure.
You say don't touch the hot stove, they're going to keep walking around that stove until they finally touch it. Because you tempted them to do that.
Yeah.
You dared them to do it, and the ego cannot handle that. The ego has to break the boundary. But if there's no ego, there's no boundaries.
Yeah.
You just naturally do right.
No, I do understand a lot of what you're saying.
Yeah. Amazing.